Hey, what's up YouTube? Today I want to show you guys my newest addition to my collection, which is the Tokyo Marui full auto tracer. I got this on eBay as usual. No unboxing this time because I was just too excited to open the box and look at it and play with it. But I do want to show it to you guys because I have already decided that this thing is about 20 times better than my current tracer, which, as a lot of you may already know, I'm pretty dissatisfied with. And that is the Madbull Gemtech blackside tracer unit. So I want to do a side-by-side comparison with them, and later on this evening when it gets dark I'm going to take them both outside and shoot them, and you guys can tell me which one is better. So here's the box, and like I said before, I did get this on eBay, and yes, this was a used item, but the previous owner obviously took very good care of this. I got this for about $70, and here it is. So when you open the package, you see there's a lot of stuff in here. Unlike when I got the Madbull tracer, it's basically just the unit itself and a charging cable. It comes in a very small box. So this is what the basically all that comes with the Madbull Gemtech tracer when you buy it. And here is the Tokyo Marui tracer. So I was looking at the instructions, which here is the first con, that all of the manual is in Japanese. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this is all written in Japanese, but it does have pretty nice diagrams, so you can get basically what it's telling you. So in the package, it comes with some little screws, and these screws are for putting the different parts together. A little package of glow-in-the-dark BBs, and all of these different attachments. Now, this is the actual tracer unit right here, and I already have some batteries in there which I put in there myself. The seller didn't include those. But this is the actual unit, and as you can see, it is actually a lot shorter than the Madbull one. And this is actually an extension right here. This is an extension that is put on, that has threads on it so that you can thread it onto a normal 14mm counterclockwise threading. And the Madbull is just already, it's fixed with that. That's all you have. It's the only choice you have with the Madbull. But all these other pieces that come in here, these are adapters to make it fit on different guns. So I think there's actually even one in here that is for quick detach, for putting it on an MP5 flash hider, which may come in handy for me because I have an MP5. There's one on here that is labeled FAMAS, so that's for a FAMAS right there. And there's one that's labeled M16, so I think that there's something you can clamp this on to your regular M16 flash hider and leave it on there, and then just slide the tracer on and off, because this tube is on it. So this tube would be around it, and you would just slide it on and off, and then attach the other end of your battery cap. So the battery cap just goes on like here, and you give it a turn, and then it's locked on, which is a lot easier. So here's another pro versus a con on the Madbull version. On here, to put the batteries in, all you do is just take this cap off and pop the batteries right in there, put it on and turn it. For the Madbull, you have to completely unscrew this from the base and pull it apart, and then all of these fragile internals are exposed. They're encased in plastic, but they're attached to the base here with 3 very small screws, which on mine have already broken, and so it moves up and down a tiny bit. And so this little button is kind of hard to reach sometimes. I have to push on it with a stick or like the end of a green gas can or something like that. So there's another thing I don't like about the Madbull. Also, this tracer is extremely light. Now, it's pretty much all plastic in here, but you know, that's pretty standard for most Marui stuff, and I don't mind. I mean, if you know, everything is plastic basically except for this tube, this metal tube that goes over it. But that's fine with me. I'm not going to be super rough with it or anything, so I don't have any worries about it breaking or anything like that. So also in the package is what looks like a sling adapter for a gun that has a full stock, so that's pretty cool. I'm not really sure why they would include that in here, but it's nice to have. It just, you can tighten this around a full stock and hook your sling onto there. And then there is also another metal tube so that you can make it longer. So there's a short tube here, and that's for when you're just going to have this regular attachment on there for using threads. And then the long tube is for if you wanted to put one of these other adapters on here, which is for when you're going to use it as a QD suppressor. and so then you would need the extra length. And these just fit in there very snugly. It doesn't move around. And like I said before, I have no worries about it breaking. So the batteries just go right there in the top. And this tracer takes 4 AAA batteries. The Madbull takes 3 AAA batteries. And here is the top plate. You just push it down. Actually, I got to put this tube on first. So you slide the tube on, and then you put your battery plate on like this. You turn it to the right, and now everything's locked into place. And one more thing that I really like about this, better than the Madbull, is how easy it is to turn on. Now, it is a bit of a cosmetic flaw because it doesn't look as nice. It's not as low profile. But right here is your on and off switch. And you just push that to the side, and now you've got red showing, so you know that it's on. Push it back, and the red is gone. Like that. On the Madbull, and I know that they did this on the Madbull because it makes it very low profile. You can't tell that there's a button on here, so you wouldn't know it's a tracer until you start seeing the glowing BBs come out. It just looks like a regular 45 suppressor. This is the button right here, but I don't know if you can, yeah. So there's the button right there, and that is actually just a long protrusion that goes into the internals of this tracer unit. And what I really don't like about it is that it's really hard to press. I don't mind giving up a little bit of looks for having something like this just work, you know, the way it's supposed to work. And this is really a pain in the ass to push this button. You know, the way I know that it's pushed sometimes is I just put it up to my ear so I can hear the little tiny click, and then I know that it's turned off because it will flash once when you turn it off because it's discharging. Yeah, I don't really like that. It makes it look better, that's true, but I don't like that it's so hard to press that button. So I just want to do a quick side-by-side comparison of the way these two tracers look. As you can see right here next to each other, like I already showed you before, the Gemtech is much longer, and that could be better for some people. Some people might like a long suppressor, but since this is not being used to hide an inner barrel, I would prefer that it be as short as possible. I would prefer it to be a shorter suppressor like this. I really like the length of this. Because I like to use this a lot on my MP9, which, you know, it kind of defeats the purpose of using a small compact gun like that if you're just going to put a really long barrel extension on it. So I like that. I like that the Marui tracer is a lot shorter. Also, the Marui tracer looks like it's a little bit wider in diameter than the Madbull, which I prefer this one for that because I do like that it's so slim. I think it looks nicer. But that's not really a big deal because the difference is very small. As I mentioned before, you can see the two on-off buttons. There's the button for the Madbull, there's the button for the Marui, and the Marui one is kind of big and bulky, but so it doesn't look as nice, but it is good because it's very easy to use and you can see when it's turned on. Also, the Marui lacks any kind of trademarks. It's just a plain, generic-looking black tube, which is fine, but it is nice that the Madbull has the added extra touch of having Gemtech trademarks on it. But, you know, that probably also added some cost to it. I think this Gemtech was around like $110 maybe, or something like that. I bought this a long time ago, so I don't exactly remember. And the Marui tracers are like around $120 new, but I got this for about $70. And I think I did actually pay about $100 for this Gemtech. If I end up liking this Marui a lot better, then I will probably end up selling this Madbull one because I don't really like it. I haven't had the best luck with it. It really uses up batteries really fast, and it just doesn't work as well as advertised. When you first buy this thing and you read all the literature for it, Madbull claims that this can illuminate up to 35 BBs per second, I think. And it's been my experience that it basically never works on full auto. If you're going to shoot full auto, it's basically going to illuminate maybe like every 6th BB or something like that. That's about as fast as it can go. Sometimes it can't even keep up with how fast I shoot on semi-auto, and that's pretty bad. And I haven't tested this one yet because I just got it today, so it's not dark yet. but I have seen other people use them where I play, and they use them on full auto, and it works just fine. So I'm definitely looking forward to that, using this in games and not missing a BB. Not missing a BB getting illuminated. So I'm going to wait until it starts to get dark out here so I can come back and show you the difference between how well these two tracers illuminate a BB, and then I'll do some shooting tests. Alright, so now I'm back outside, and the sun is starting to go down. I think it's about like 7:30 or something like that, so in another half hour or so it'll be dark enough to get some good footage of these tracers. But I just wanted to, before the sun went completely down, mention one more thing that I just noticed that I don't like about the Marui tracer. I noticed that when I was screwing this on to my MP5, this is my ICS MP5 here, and I have an adapter on here so I don't have to only use MP5 specific attachments. It's 14mm counterclockwise threaded on the top. And so I noticed when I was putting this on here that screwing it on does start to get kind of tight, and you probably want to be really careful when you're putting this on here because the threads are plastic, just like the majority of the rest of this thing. The threads are plastic, and it would be possible to strip them. So that's one thing that I don't like, because I was trying to be as careful as possible, but it still started to get kind of tight towards the end. And I feel like the threads may be a little bit damaged because they're plastic, and you won't have that issue with the Madbull tracer because everything is metal. And so it'd be nice if maybe Marui made a piece that you could buy so you could replace this back plate with a metal one, because I really would prefer metal threads to plastic threads, because I feel like screwing this on and off over and over again, because I have to remove it after games, because I mean I'm not going to want to use this on here all the time. I'm going to want to use it on different guns, and I'm going to want to take it off to pack the gun up after a game, because I squeeze my guns in there, I get them in there pretty snug, and so usually I take the handguard off, I take the attachments off, take the magazine out of course, and to get everything to fit in my gun bag. And so if taking this on and off over and over again is going to damage it, then that's definitely a con. But I'm going to wait a little bit longer, wait for it to get a little bit darker, and I'll show you guys how well this thing lights up the BBs on semi-auto and full auto. Alright, so now got my magazine loaded up with some Madbull tracer BBs, and I've got the Marui tracer on here first. So I'm going to see how well it does on semi-automatic, lighting up these BBs, and then I'll switch over to full and we can check it out. And now, let's see how well it does on full auto. I say that's not too bad. Alright, so now I've got the Madbull Gemtech tracer on here, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to shoot it on semi-auto first and then full auto, and see how well it does in comparison to the Marui. So you can see already, just shooting on semi-auto but fast, it doesn't get all the BBs, whereas the Marui got all of them. So now let's see how full auto does. And this is supposed to be rated for 35 BBs per second. So I'd say that this one loses. Alright, so I just want to make one more quick comparison between these two tracer units. I've got the Marui right here, and I've got the Madbull right here. And what I want to do is I'm going to take them and just set them here vertically, and I'm going to drop a BB through so that it lands on the table and you can see it. And so we can see which one lights up more of the BB. Because I want to do this because I have noticed that with the Madbull, it only lights up half of the BB, and so you get a half moon shape, and therefore the BBs look overall not as bright because the light doesn't get to all of it. When it goes through, there's only a light on one side of the tube, and the reflectors inside are not that great, so only half of the BB gets lit up. So I'm going to drop it through the Marui tracer first, and we can see how well it lights it up. And so we can see that on this one, and I'll drop it through again, it lights up almost all of the BB. There is one small space on the other side that didn't get illuminated. Let me grab another one and drop a fresh one through it. But you can see when I roll this around that almost all of the BB is lit up. And so even if the light inside of this isn't as bright, the BB will probably look brighter because the entire BB is illuminated. Because with the Madbull, as it's spinning through the air, half of it is still completely dark, and so you end up with an overall not as bright looking BB. I'll drop it through the Madbull now. And you can see I've got this side of it is just completely still white, and the other, only one side of it is glowing. Drop it again. So there's completely not illuminated side of this BB.